Hello and welcome to Unpacked and Empowered Plus Finances podcast, where we break down real life challenges and financial journeys to empower you in your own path. I'm your host, Marian Agudo, and today we have an inspiring episode that speaks to anyone navigating career changes, life transitions, moving to a new country, or just starting from humble beginnings. And as always, we would like to assure you that the views and opinions expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Unpacked and Empowered Podcast and Marian Agudo. So joining us is someone who knows exactly what it means to embrace change and build a new future from the ground up. Our guest today is Clariza Bergeron, a former operating room nurse from the Philippines who took a bold leap into finance and eventually entrepreneurship. She is now the co-owner of Bergeron Immigration Limited and serves as the president of the Filipino Association of New Brunswick in St. John. Beyond her impressive career, she is also a devoted wife and a mother. Clariza's journey is one of resilience, reinvention, and purpose. From a fast-paced world of healthcare to helping others navigate the immigration process, she has turned her own experiences into a mission to uplift and support newcomers in Canada. So if you've ever felt uncertain about where life is taking you, this conversation is for you. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's unpack this incredible journey together. Welcome to the show, Clariza. So can you share a little bit about your background and what brought you to Canada?
My name is Clariza Bergeron. I'm an immigrant who came to Canada with, a dream to or a desire to make a difference. But I would say that my main reason for coming to Canada is love. I met my husband. We were playing online games. Uh, I used to be one of the boys because I went to engineering school before my nursing school. So all of my friends were guys, and what we do is play online games all day whenever we have free time. So I went to Mapua as an engineering student, and family business did not end well. That made me stop studying engineering and pursue nursing. So back to the intro. I became OR nurse. And then before moving here in Canada, I had my fair share of being an entrepreneur even back in the Philippines. I helped my mom take care of our lending business. We have a farm and a mango plantation back then. And then here in Canada, I pursued the business of administration while I was pregnant. And I was the president of a social entrepreneurship club where we present problems from the communities and find solutions for it and compete in other universities. So I graduated at UMB with as a dean's lister with three scholarships, which it's a finance scholarship, which is very good. Two leadership awards and three business faculty awards. And then today, I'm a co-owner of business Bergeron Immigration Limited, alongside with my husband Patrick Bergeron. And additionally, we own some few investment properties here in New Brunswick, and also I'm the president of the Filipino Association of New Brunswick here in St. John.
Perfect. And that's what led me to you. You mentioned all the accomplishments. That's so great. And that to think you were pregnant back then when you were studying, you were the president of an organization where you help people. That's really interesting. And given that you were a nurse in the Philippines, you had to transition here in the finance and entrepreneurship sector. What was the transition like for you?
The transition, it was exciting, overwhelming, and it was very hard. So exciting in a way that it's new, Asian culture. You're always like guarded by your family's rules and regulations. So when I moved here in Canada, I felt so excited and, newly married. So excited to be with my husband, excited to be an adult. But at the same time, it was a reality that I am all alone in Canada, no family, and then, new to the country. And there's a lot of hardship in terms of moving from having a stable job and a business back in the Philippines and starting a new life here in Canada. So I think that's really like, a big transition for me from having, I say freedom, but although we know that in the Philippines we do have freedom, but it's so different, like back in the Philippines, uh, my mom would just say, don't worry about cooking, don't worry about cleaning the house because we have house help. You worry about studies, and then when you're done studying, you worry about the business. But then you come to Canada, you don't realize that we were not groomed in this kind of environment where now I have to do my own dishes, I have to do my own laundry. Simple things like that was very overwhelming because I have some people doing this for me back home. We don't see it as important to for us before because we have a different way of thinking what is important for us as Asian families for me. So I think that's one of the few things. And in terms of career wise, here in Canada, there's a lot of like, I felt I had to start from the beginning. There's a different laws, different regulations, expectations are so different. So even if I was an OR nurse back in the Philippines, I can't be a practicing nurse here in Canada. So I started as a support care worker, like a nursing aide. I used to do or assist operation, like all types of operation. I've already assisted 15 hours with craniotomy, like stuff like that. And then all of a sudden now I have to just change diaper, do the laundry and stuff like that. So it's a big realization. Adapting to the culture is so different. I faced discrimination. I felt alone. So those are the things that added to the career transition when I moved here in Canada.
Thank you so much for sharing. And it's you mentioned about like not having to do a lot of the things that I mean, you didn't do those things before when you were in the Philippines because you had help, other people who could help you with that and focus on the other things. But then you moved here, you're alone, and then realizing, okay, I'm gonna have to do things myself. Even as a new mom, I believe that time it must have been very hard for you. So your resilience is very good, given that you've also changed careers from being an OR nurse and then going to entrepreneurship, studying and accomplishing all of that. What made you stay motivated and adapt to this entirely new path for you?
I think for me, it's the culture that I grew up with. Aside from just being Asian, it's also like how I was raised by my mom, my family. So growing up in a family, my mom raised four kids. My father, it's a different story, but she came from a well-off family, my mom, and then decided to elope with my father. And then my grandparents, who were in Canada at that time, decided like, well, if you're gonna elope, we're sending you to med school. Now we're gonna no more support from your parents. So, and then my dad decided that the family is not for him. So my mom was left with four kids. So she worked hard, uh, as an entrepreneur herself. So we grew up with that, but we never heard anything bad. She never complained. She never say anything bad about my father. She just like, we're just normal. We're just happy. She's there. So I think that's one thing that I have in mind, that even though there's a lot of problems out there, for me, I think sticking up to the plan. So I have a very good support system. My husband has always been there, always, trying to support me, understanding the difference in culture, understanding our differences. The strong sense of purpose for me is I wanted to be a nurse in Canada. I wanted this family to work. For me, I think having that as a background, we as a nurse, for me as a nurse, I'm very passionate, to make sure that I reach that goal. Because I know that being a caregiver is just the stepping stone. I know that I write every night. I actually write it on the notebook. So I have a notebook. So for me, that's the thing. I have a notebook. I write all the dreams. I write all the ambitions or the things that I want to do. So having that support system, having a strong sense of purpose for my son, for my mom, because in the Philippines we have, a designated family member that will take care of your parents. So at that time, I am the designated daughter. So I need to push and find a way to bring my mom here in Canada. And the only way to do that is if I will be able to stand on my own 2 feet, be financially stable, career stable, and also ready for her to come here. So I think that having that persistence and being, like what you said, resilience in attitude, it's ingrained in all of us. So that's what helped really me to push, to persevere, to do better. Like, just to give you another story, I gave birth to my son December 14th, and that's like few hours after my final exam in econ. And my whole family came to visit for 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks, we went to Montreal to visit my aunt, to introduce my son. And then at January 3rd, I start my what is this, co-op co-op placement at Irving. And for me, I cannot stop, because when you give birth in Canada, you have 52 weeks if you want to take a leave. But for me, if I take that leave, my co-op placement, I fought 60 students to get that place for Irving. If I will not continue my co-op, it means that that's gone. I would not have that opportunity to put my foot on the door and a possibility of a placement, the job placement when I'm done schooling. So having that purpose, like I know what's my purpose is, that pushes me to do what's hard to do. And then I leverage my entrepreneurial background as well. I think that's one thing, because when you have the business minded, no matter what happens, you persevere.
Yeah.
Like now, if I have a migraine, doesn't matter. If you have a meeting, you go to the meeting. You don't just stop just because there's something that's blocking your way.
Appreciate that. Yeah, one thing that you said that really resonated with me as well is having your mom raise you for siblings. It's kind of the same with mine, except my father died when I was younger, like 5, and then she had to raise 5 kids as well. And that kind of resilience to raise kids on her own was really helpful in us. Like, it really helped us develop our personalities as well, being independent. And I think that's also a good thing. If you have that kind of background from your mom, it has really helped you, whatever it is. Like, you can do anything. Your mom did it. you can do anything as well.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah, so that's a good thing. And then you said you gave birth 14 hours after your finals, your
Yes.
final exams. You must
Yes.
be contracting during the
Yes, I was like a
exams.
5 centimeters while taking the econ exam, and then it was 4 hours. I already like my water broke, and you have to go to the hospital. And it was snowstorm at that night. And at the hospital, they sent me back home because they told me that you can still take selfie and you're still smiling. So we don't think you're about to give birth. So they sent me back home, and after 30 minutes, we're back in the hospital.
Funny. And then one more thing that I really like about what you said is you make some notes. So you have this notebook where you put in your dreams and anything that you want to accomplish. And I think that's really good because writing it on paper is really what pushes you. Like you can look back to it and it does something special to your, like to our brains as well when we write something down. I noticed that with myself too, compared to when I like digital notes, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to write this down so I could remember it more. So that's really a good strategy. Now, you also mentioned about financial struggles earlier. And we know that moving to a new country comes with financial struggles. What do you think are the financial challenges, or actually, what financial challenges exactly have you experienced when you first arrived?
So when I moved in Canada, I know that my life will change a lot. So I do have a business back home, so I make sure that I have some money with me. Because I in my head I did not have that kind of thinking before that oh Canada is a is a dream country, compared to what's being promoted right now. So when I moved here, I was scared because I know that I will not have the same status when from the Philippines to Canada because I'm starting new. So limited income is the first thing that really hit me because when I moved here, I don't have a job, and now it's my husband who's going to support us. We both live in an apartment, and I was not comfortable with that because the first apartment we moved in, there was a rat problem. So there was like mice problem in the kitchen, and I can only stand. I think for a week we have to move out. From 450 a month to 850 a month. But that was very gay. That was awesome. Like 10 years ago, that was
Yeah,
three
yeah,
bedrooms with a sunroom with a big storage room.
we
But now
wouldn't
you
get
can't
that now.
get that that anymore. So one of the biggest financial challenge was the lack of income because when I moved here, you have to take care of your Medicare card, your SIN number, all those IDs, then certification for my nursing. I have to take the English test. That's $380. That's educational assessment, another $380. So it's the expenses piled up. And then education is another one. So if I go to university, from having two incomes, now it's just another one income for my husband. Settling, with the new cost, because my husband wanted to start a family. So I said, I cannot start a family without my own house. So that's sort of like my deal for him that because we're living in an apartment and I can hear three kids running around the house on top of us. So for me, it's like, I cannot, I cannot live in a place like that where I have to take care of my son and I can hear people wandering around and then the dog and everything. So that's one of the things that I asked. I said, I want to make sure that we have a house. So I think those are the financial struggles that I have is starting anew, bills that's piling up, recertification, my education, and yeah, I think that's one of the challenges that I have. Also, I think we know in the Philippines we think we know how to do budgeting, but
Mhm.
I don't think they really taught us how to budget money, because in the Philippines I live rent free. You know, I have a house, and then there's a car that I drive that I don't have to pay.
Yeah.
We go out, and it's the, you know, it's the matriarch who pays for everything. You know, Asian family, when we go somewhere, whoever is the eldest will pay for everything, right? So I don't have that kind of what is this? The responsibilities in terms of money. So when I moved here, budgeting is one of the crucial part for me, because we have limited funds, and now I have to learn how to budget. I'm used to having cash in the Philippines. So for years I would struggle, because now I have to use a card. And in this card you just tap, and you don't know, you know, how much money you're losing. Because in the Philippines, I know when my money started to thin out that I'm losing money.
Yeah.
So I'm very careful when I'm spending my money. But here, I always fight with my husband, because like, I want cash, I need cash, I want wallet, so that kind of thing. Because for me, it's
Something
like,
in your wallet too.
yeah, budgeting for me is like knowing that there's money in my wallet, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to budget when you're just in the card. So yeah, I think those were the financial struggles that I have when I came to Canada.
Thank you for sharing. And what are the best financial decisions you've made, would you say?
Uh, for me, I would say is investing in myself, investing in others, my future, and I would say smart financial planning with my husband. So when I say investing in myself, it's because there's a lot of free workshops, you know, in Canada. That's the things that's difference between Canada and the Philippines. Here in Canada, everywhere you go online or here in the area, you'll find some free workshops that actually will very beneficial, very helpful. So that is one of the things that helped me. Investing in others, I mean like networking. When I started here, I had like 3 book clubs, and these people not only help me in terms of like finances, they're not gonna help me with finances, but as a person,
Yeah.
when I felt alone, they were there, you know, to be able to talk to, share my fears. Most of them became my very close friends as well. But they help with also my English, because like you know, when you just like you have nobody to talk to. My husband's French, but he's English. It's kind of hard to just be by yourself and you're just at home. But when you're outside, you know, you talk to others, you're getting comfortable, you know, speaking the language. Because in the Philippines, we speak Taglish. And when you speak straight English, people will try to make you feel uncomfortable, you know. But here, that's very important when you're looking for jobs, when you're talking to people, when you're comfortable to speak the language, you know, you'll be able to sell yourself for any job position. So that's another thing. And for I think I would say with the financial way, I wish I knew it earlier to just sit down and learn how to budget. Because me, as Asian or as a Filipina, I'm scared to talk about money. I'm scared to talk to my husband and says, how much do you earn? How much money I can, you know, we're scared to, or I would say I'm scared at the beginning to talk about all these things. It's just like in the Philippines, we don't talk about that too. Same as planning about your future, planning about investment, planning about your even your death, right? It's like a taboo to talk about that. So same as the financial, it's hard to talk to or to plan that things because if you tell your husband that hey, let's look for insurance, There's a bad connotation about insurance. Why? Are you gonna try to murder me, or are you planning for me to die anytime soon? So stuff like that. We're very, very scared to talk about the future, talk about the finances. We're scared to be honest, how much are we earning, how much we want to save for traveling, how much we want to save for just for sake of savings or health or maintenance of the house or stuff like that. So the best financial decision I did, I think, was when I tried to sit down with my husband and I told him my fear of not being able to buy what I want. And I'm not talking about expensive stuff, not like, the branded stuff and all, just the basic needs. I'm scared of not having enough money for those things to pay my bills on time. Um, but I think that's sort of like the best financial decision that I have is when I sit down with my husband and start talking about money management.
Really talking about the things that matters that we sometimes would avoid is a good thing. So that's great. Now, many immigrants arrive in Canada unsure of where to start. So like you said, we always have to start from the beginning. At least most of us, including myself. What's your biggest piece of advice for newcomers navigating career shifts?
I think I would want to say is just be patient with yourself, because I remember my husband always he keeps telling me before, hold on, grasshopper, because I'm so anxious, like, when I moved here, I told myself, oh, I'm gonna be stress free, because in the Philippines I work as a nurse, and then I also take care of my mom, take care of my brother's needs, because my brother, he's a director, global director for semiconductor companies. So he travels to different countries 3 times, 2 to 3 times a week. So I'm the designated driver for him to go to the airport and then back, and then on top of that, take care of business. So I'm always like, all around. So when I moved here, my husband says, this is your time to breathe in and to distress and relax. But then, because we're used to doing a lot of things all at the same time. So when I moved here, I was depressed. And I was scared to say that before about the depression, because we have this stigma in the Philippines that you can't be depressed. It means you're crazy. But it's not. I'm just not as motivated as I was, because I felt all these changes in my life. So I was scared. I was sad. I was super, like, very afraid of the future. So I would say is just be patient with yourself. Um, Assess. You need to assess where you are right now. How are you feeling? Because when your mind is clear, that's when you can go and write down your plans. um, if you don't assess, you don't know where to begin. You're just gonna be a mess. And that's what we normally say when we did for the nursing. Self-awareness is very important, because you need to be honest to yourself. Like, you need to know you can't have all this grandiose plans about yourself, because it's hard to attain. So having patience, assessing what's your self-awareness, assessing your plan, know where to begin, and what's your end goal. Embrace proactive learning. So proactive learning, meaning that, learn to know yourself and say, what what do I have right now as an asset to myself? And then, let's say there's free seminars, webinars. Take that opportunity. So embrace those learnings. Um, Leverage your transferable skills. Like, as Filipinos, we're very skillful. And if you can use those skills to help yourself, then because a lot of newcomers don't realize, your previous experience are very, very valuable here in Canada. We're friendly, our communication skills are very good. So those are the qualifications. Problem solvings. We're at early age, we will dealt with a lot of problems in the Philippines, but we're all, face it with a big smile. So those are the things, that you can transfer as a skills to yourself. Another thing is seek mentorship or networking, like all those networking events. Try to find a right connection, good connection, not just like go attend the networking and introduce yourself. It goes back to, again, assessing and knowing who you are, because when you go to networking events, you need to know who you are and what you're going to tell to the other people. If you're going to go to networking and says like, oh, I feel so bad, I'm so scared with this in this new country, then it's not a good, you're not going to get a good return. What you give is what you get during a networking event. If you're an interesting person, you definitely going to meet another interesting, people in that networking events. And if you're not ready, then go seek mentorship. These are the things where you'd say, don't be afraid to ask for help. And mentorship are given in different places here in Canada, in New Brunswick. Another thing is be open to new paths or opportunities. Like for me, if I just stick myself to just being a nurse and the assessment took 3 years, I would probably waiting for that assessment, until the end of time, and I would not have achieved what I have right now. So when that was like 11 years ago, I have plan A, B, C, and D. That's how I was, or still I am. The plan A is to do my assessment and be a nurse. Plan B is start my own business. Plan C is take a different, probably take a different degree. And then other thing is go back to the Philippines. I put that as another plan if things doesn't work out for me. So always have a backup plan. And it helped me a lot. But yeah, I think those are the things that I would say I want the newcomers to understand. Just be patient and ask for help.
Yeah, definitely. Those are things that not just Filipinos would definitely learn from, but a lot of newcomers and immigrants. Where can people learn more about Bergeron Immigration and how you can help them?
So for Bergeron Immigration, you can either add me on Facebook, Clariza Bergeron, or go to our website, www.bergeronimmigration.com. And you can send us message there or email me at clarissa.bergeron@bergeronimmigration.com.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Clarissa, for this time. Hope you have a great night.
Thank you very much, Marin.